What's the solution? We need to set path for Java C. Yeah, very good. Means into till JDK bin, we have to set the path. Very good. Yeah, you just try that and we see. Okay, guys, let me share my screen. You can see my screen, right, guys? Yeah, fine. Now, so until previous session, we have discussed the conditional statements. Now we start with looping statements, looping or iterating statements. So these looping statements, why do we use these looping statements and what are the different looping statements that we have? We'll discuss now. Looping control statements are used to repeat the execution of set of instructions or statements or lines repeatedly. Sorry, repeat set of instruction statements and instruction statements and lines. Come here. No. Okay, come quickly. Yeah. Looping control statements are used to repeat the execution of set of instruction statements and lines that we are writing in our programs. Okay, just 1 minute, guys. I'll come back. So looping control statements that are used to repeat the execution of set of statements in our programs. So set our block of statements. So under looping control statements, what do we have? We have like for loop and while loop and do while loop. And of course, from Java newer versions like Java 1.5 onwards, we have got enhanced for loop. Enhanced for loop. So like this, these are the basic looping control statements that we have to iterate set block of statements code uh, execution again and again. We have these four different types of loops in Java supported. And now, so the basic objective of looping control statements is what? Repeating the execution of set of instructions. So this point you need to remember. Basically, what do these control statements, looping control statements do? Is it clear, guys? Got the point? Hmm. Why do we need looping control statements, or what is the purpose of looping control statements or iterative control statements? Everyone got the point, right, guys? Yeah. Now, let us see one by one. What is for loop? For loop, it is used to repeat a set of or a block of statements, block of instructions or statements or lines in the program for a certain number of times. For a certain number of times. So why we need this for loop? For loop is used to repeat execution of repeat execution of execution repeat execution of a block of statements in the program for a certain number of times or fixed number of times. So if we know the number of times to be repeated, or the number of times to repeat execution of statements in our program, then we can use for loop. So when we can use, when we know the number of times to repeat the execution of statements in our program or block of statements in our program, then we can use for loop. So for example, means the syntax goes like this. Syntax you can write. So before for loop, we may have certain lines, some other lines in our program. Then for, and here in for loop, we have three parts within the for loop parentheses. What are the? And for loop. three parts we will be having. First one is a counter initialization part. Counter initialization means why we need in for loop, we need to count how many number of times the program means a block of statements are getting executed. Why? We need to repeat a certain number of times the execution, right? That means we have to count how many times it is being executed. So counter initialization, and then we have condition check whether counter is reaching the condition or not, and then we have counter increment or counter modification we can say, but what actually we do, counter increment or counter decrement. We'll be incrementing the counter variable or decrementing the counter variable. Means we can count in a forward direction or backward direction, right? From 1 to n or n to 1. Either way we can count. So after that, open the block and close the block. Here we'll be having set of statements or block of statements that are to be executed repeatedly. Statements to repeatedly execute until condition become false. So until condition goes false, it will repeat. So after this for loop, again we can have some other statements also. This is what we can say. We can say the syntax of for loop. So is it clear, guys? So here one counter variable will take to count how many number of times the loop has been repeated or the execution of the statements has been done. To take that counting as the base, we need to take a counter variable, initialize a counter variable, and we need to initialize it here. And then we need to check whether the counter has reached the max number of times to be repeated or not. I want to repeat 3 times or 5 times, same set of statements execution. Then or same logic I want to execute 5 times. Then the condition to be checked whether we reach to that number of times or not, and then modify the counter like by incrementing or decrementing. So in this way it will go. Now let us write a simple demo program on for loop. So for loop purpose and the syntax, is it clear, guys, or do you have any doubts over there? Clear? Yeah. Okay, fine. Now let's say class. See, I want to print numbers from 1 to 5. I want to print numbers from 1 to 5. So for that, how should we write the code? Let us say number printer. Let us say the code program as number printer. Save this program. Number printer .java. Now public static void main string args. So here usually if I want to print numbers from 1 to 5, then what should I do? I need to write system.out.println. If I want to print a number, then what should I do? I can print like 1. And if I want to print two numbers, means 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So if I want to print 5 numbers, I can write some simple logic like this. Oh, sorry. Simple logic like this. And let us run this program and do the changes here. So here what should we do? Set path equals to C colon program files Java JDK and bin. Till bin we have to set the path. Now Java C, compile the program. Which program? Number printer.java. It has compiled successfully. No error means it is compiled successfully. Java number printer dot class. Enter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is printing. But what is happening? If it is 5 numbers, okay, we can write like this. If it is 100 numbers or if it is 1000 numbers, it has to print. Then 1000 lines of code should we copy paste again and again and again? No, right. So in this case, we can go for loops. So how can we use loop for loop here? I'll show you now. Just give me 2 minutes, guys. I will be back. Yes.
ఇట్లనే చేస్తాను కదా. ఎందుకు? Why is there all disturbance from your side అన్నారా?
అందుకు అమ్మలేసింటే నాకు డిస్టర్బెన్స్ ఉండదు కదా. Okay guys, let's. So here, instead of writing these many statements, same statements, if we observe here, always we are doing system.out.println, only the value that is presented here inside system.out.println is changing. So here, if it is 5 statements or 10 statements, we can copy paste and we can do. But if it is going for 1000 statements, then writing such a long program is not a good programming. So here, what we can do, let us comment this. If we want to write multiple lines comments, we can write in this way: slash star and end is star slash. It is multiple comments. If it is single line comment, then like 2 forward slashes. So now let us see how we can write the loop. So let us take for inside the for, what we require. The first part is what? Yeah, what is the first part in for loop, guys? Just now I told, right? Not remembering. Counter initialization, condition check, and counter increment or decrement, right? So counter initialization, how we can write here? And let us say initialization means simply we need to create a variable and initialize the variable. Int, let us take I equal to how many times up to what we wanted to print, 5, right? So 5. If you want to print if we want to print like a 1000, then you can write 1000. Then I is less than or equals to 1000. The condition, sorry, now it is 5 only, right? So sorry, from where we need to begin? We need to begin from 1 and up to what we wanted to print, 5. So I is less than or equals to 5, the condition. So here initialize, where initial value will be always the starting value, right? So I is equals to 1, the starting value, and condition check is I is less than or equal to 5. Why? Because the last, how many times we need to repeat this statement? 5 times. So 5. Then counter variable modification. You can write I plus plus. I plus plus. So in this third part is modification of the counter variable or incrementing or decrementing the counter variable. We need to go in ascending order 1 to 5. So increment. If you want to come in a descending order, then it will be minus minus, right? This also will be initialize it to 5 and check it with 1 and minus minus. Now what we can do, system.out.println I, system.out.println I. So now what happens, how the control will go? Control will come here. It will initialize the variable once, initialize the variable int I with 1, and then it will check the condition. the I value is less than or equal to 5 or not. When it is checking, it will be uh, true or false. True only, right? Because right now I value is initialized to 1. So 1 is less than 5 or less than or equal to 5. This condition is true. So it will come inside of this for loop. And then it executes it. After that, it goes to after executing last statement in the loop. Oh, it is end, right? But from here it does not continue, but it will come here to the modification part. It will increment the I value after printing this block statements. It will come to this part and modify the I value as I plus plus, and then again it will come to condition check part. It will check the condition I is less than or equal to 5 or not. If it is 5, then again it will come inside of this block, because right now I value is what, from 1 it has been modified to 2. So 2 is less than or equals to 5, the condition is true. It will come to this part, system.out.println I means right now I value is 2, so it will be printed 2. Next again it will come to increment or decrement part, modifying here, incrementing I value. I plus plus means 2 plus plus means it will be added by 1. 2 plus 1 means 3. So 3 is less than or equal to 5. So it will come inside for loop and print the I value. Now it is printing I value as 3. After that, it comes here again, modification or increment part of the for loop I plus plus. Here again it modifies I value. Right now I value is what, 3. 3 plus plus means it will become 4, and it will check I value. What is I value is less than or equal to 5 or not. If it is 5, it is true. Why? Because I value is 4 now. So 4 is less than or equal to 5, and it comes inside the loop. It prints like this. It will go until I value becomes 5. It will print. Once it is printing I value as 5 here, it comes to I plus plus, and I plus plus means after printing 5, I plus plus means what will be the value? I will become I value become 6. 5 plus plus means 6, right? So it checks the condition 6 is less than or equal to 5 or not. So in this case what happens? Condition will be failed. 6 is not less than or equal to 5. So it will come out of this for loop, and it continue with the further statements. Now we can say system.out.println printing numbers is completed. And even before for loop you can have some code. Let's say system.out.println printing numbers from 1 to 5. So like this we can write some code before for loop and some code after for loop also. So save it, compile the program, run the program. So printing numbers from 1 to 5. So printed 1 to 5 and printing numbers is completed. The job, printing job of numbers is completed. So now if I want to print till 20, then I don't require to do any copy pasting or any changes in my code. Simply this condition, in place of this condition I wanted to change. Just like I is less than or equal to 20, right? Like this we can do. So now see, if I compile the program and run the program 1 to 20, I will get. So in this way, we can use a loop to repeat the set of statement or block of statements execution again and again in the programs. Is it clear, guys? How we are using for loop, what is the purpose and how it is working? Even if you keep here 10,000, it will print 10,000 numbers, or 1 lakh also you can give, it will print. Like that it will go. Is it clear, guys? Yeah, Purnima, got the point? Shishir, Raghu? Yeah, got it. Good. Now, so here if we observe, here we are hard coding the upper limit of numbers. So it always prints 20 times only, or 5 times only. But if we want to take input from the user and based on the user input, it has to repeat. In that case, what we should do? Instead of having static value, hard coded value here, we can say upper limit or boundary or limit. Create one variable int upper limit. This one you can take from input. Let us say 10 or 5 or 20, anything. So as of now, we are not taking any inputs from keyboard, but this one you can think of that it will be the user input dynamic value. So you don't require to do any change in the code. Even in the condition, anything you don't require. If you take it as variable, variables will be helpful to make your program more dynamic. Variable means the value will be very right every time. That's why we are calling it as variable. So now if I say compile the program and print the program, run the program. If I say 10 numbers it has printed. If I say 18, now just changing the value, we can say it as user input, and compile the program, run the program again, we get 18. So in this way, we can take the for loop to repeat a set of statements execution again and again for fixed number of times. Here, before during the programming itself, as the programmer, we know that we should repeat this block of statements until means this many number of times, up to upper limit times we have to repeat. Right, the in such cases we can use for loop. Is it clear, guys? For loop. Yeah, next, while loop. While loop, and this while loop, it is used to repeat execution block of statements or block of instructions or statements or program lines in the program for unknown number of times, but until condition becomes false or as long as a condition is true. Anyhow, we can say. So here we don't know the number of times while writing the code in while loop. In what type of scenarios we can use when we are not able to decide the number of repetitions of the program code. In such case, we can go for while loop. The syntax, how we can write? We can write the syntax like this. So instead of here while, and in the while, we will not be having any counter initialization, and we will not be having any counter increment or decrement. The condition only will be having while this condition is true, then only it will repeat, execute the block of statements. If condition is not true, it does not execute. Even for the first time also condition may be false. In that case, it does not execute. But generally, we can say in the while loop, this is the basic syntax. While condition and repeat the set of statements execution and execute. But if we go for this same kind of counter and all, that also we can write, but that is not exact description. The syntax for while is, so as long as condition is true, execute a block of statements repeatedly. When it becomes false, break the loop and come out and continue with next statements in the program. In this way, it will go. So it will execute 0 or more times. That more times cannot be fixed based on the dynamic scenario or situation. It will repeat a set of statements. So we'll write a program. We'll write a program to print the digits, each and every digit in a number in one line. Assume that if I give 123, then it should print the number 123 in three different lines. One in one line, two in a second line, three in third line. Is it clear, guys? Means what I wanted to do, my number is 123, then it should print like this. So each and every digit it has to take and it has to print 1 2 3 like this. So how to print? So for this 1 2 3 in a reverse order or ascending order, anyway, I will print like this: 3 2 1, like this I will print. Okay. So what is this? It is multi-line comment in Java. This program to print all digits in the number in reverse order. Okay. So now the program, what we can say, class number reversal class. it reverses the number, right? So copy the class name, save the class as .java. Now here what we should do, we need to write the regular code, public static void main string ar, or simply or anything we can write args or anything. Now let us take the number, enter number, my number is 123, and now I want to print this number in reverse order. So here what I should do, I need to take the numbers in reverse order. Means how should I print? I need to print like this, right? System dot out dot print ln 3, then two, and then 1. Manually we can print like this, but it should not be like this, right? The user input might be changing. If I change this number as 4567, then it should print 7654, like that it has to print. We cannot change every time based on the input change. We cannot change here in the code, right? It should be automatically done. So how it should be done, how it can be? So for that we can use while loop. Here we don't know whether it is 3 times or 4 times or 10 times, right? Based on the number input whatever you are giving, this system.out.println statements should come. Are you getting the point, guys? Here how we are not able to determine the number of times or the number of repetitions during the program. During the program, here we are not able to determine the number of repetitions. Only during the runtime, whatever input we give for the number, based on that input, the number of repetitions will be decided. So in such kind of scenarios, we should go for while loop. So while, what we need to do, we can say number is greater than 0 condition. Why I am taking the number is greater than 0? Because in this block I am going to modify the number value. In this while block I am going to modify the value. That's why I am taking number is greater than 0, like this. So here let us take to this individual digits to represent that. Let us take one digit variable, digit. So I don't want to initialize here. In the loop I want to take into the digit. I wanted to print system.out.println 3. I need to get this 3, but this 3 I want to get it print through variable digit. So from the given number, if I want to get last digit, so what should I write? Is it equals to this last digit as the result I want to get from this number into this digit? Then what should we use, or what should we do? Please come once again. It is not audible. Yes, very good. Number, percentage, Very good. So whenever we are using a modulo operator, percentage means modulo operator. Modulo operator is returns you what? It performs division operation and returns the remainder of that division as the result, right? So if I divide this 123 with 10, then 10 12s are 120 and 3 will be a remainder, right? So that digit will come into this place and I am printing here. After printing it, what I wanted to do, I wanted to remove that digit 3 from the number. I want to remove the digit 3 from the number. So for that, what we need to do, I want to remove the 3 and I want to get only this 12 into the number this time. Then what should we do? To remove last digit from a number and remaining digits in the number in the value, which operation we have to do? What should we do? Yeah, guys, the same already you given here, no answer. Number mod 10, number mod 10 will give you what? The remainder as the result, but what we require? Yeah, quotient we require. See, these two numbers means what? 12 means what? Quotient of this division, right? If we divide number with the 10, what would be the quotient? 12, right? So if we wanted to so in generalizing this process, you can remember that to get last digit from the number, we can use to get last digit from the number, we can use we can use uh, modulo operator with 10, modulo 10 to get all the digits, all the digits except the last digit, we need to do by 10. Division operator with 10. Okay, so if you remember this operators clearly, you can write this. It is again, it's nothing but your simple math only, right? You are doing division. Now before and after, you can write any statements like system dot out dot println reversing number, and after while loop you can say reversing number completed. Like this we can write. Okay, now compile the program. Already we have saved. So number reversal class. Okay, we should compile it, right? Java C number reversal class dot java. Now Java number reversal class. So reversing number 321. Got it, right? So if user changes the input as 5,432, then 2345, it will print, right? No, see here, it is not limiting to 3 times or 4 times or 10 times like that. If you observe the difference, dynamically based on the input, the number of repetitions will be decided and it will be executed. Is it clear, guys? How it's going? Yeah, guys, Shishir, Purnima, Raghu, got it? Yeah, fine. Okay, so let us pause here. Tomorrow we'll continue with remaining iterative loops or looping control statements. So here you try to do the same programs whatever we have discussed, printing all the numbers from 1 to 10 and printing each and every digit from the number in reverse order. And if possible, if you want to give a try, so print here I have given the logic for printing numbers in a reverse order, last number to first number in the, sorry, last digit to first digit in the number. But now you try to print in the same order, 5 4 3 2 it has to print. Hmm? You try for that. You got the point, right? What is the exercise you need to do? Huh? So if it is 1 to 3, how it is giving the output 3 to 1, it is printing, right? Now what I want you to print it as 1 to 3 only in the each and separate lines. So I'm saving it and I'm compiling it and printing it. Number reversal class 3 to 1. But instead of without reversing, print number digits. Number digits in each and every line, like 1, then 2, then 3. So try. You can use Google also. Or you can think by your own and you can write. Okay, guys. Okay, let's pause here. Let's continue tomorrow. Okay, guys. Bye bye. Bye, everyone. Yeah.